So, you walk into a party. You don't know anyone. There's an awkward silence. What do you do?
Or imagine you are in an elevator with your boss. Just the two of you. For 30 whole seconds. Do you stare at your phone? Talk about the weather? Or just die inside?
Today on Real English Podcast, we're tackling small talk, one of the most searched topics in English learning, so you never have to stand alone at a party again.
Hello and welcome to Real English Podcast. I'm William, coming to you from Melbourne, Australia.
And I'm Sarah, joining from New York City. In today's episode, we're going to talk about small talk, what it is, why it matters, and exactly how to do it without freezing up. We'll give you real phrases, real situations, and a quiz at the end. Let's go.
Sarah, I want to start by asking you something. Why do you think small talk is so hard for non-native English speakers?
Oh, there are so many reasons. I think the biggest one is that small talk has unwritten rules. Nobody teaches you these rules in school. You just absorb them growing up.
Right, and in different cultures, small talk works very differently. In Australia, we tend to be pretty casual and direct. In the US, people often open with a lot of energy and enthusiasm.
Exactly. And one thing learners get wrong is that they think small talk has to be deep or meaningful. It doesn't. The whole point is just to break the ice, to start a connection, to feel comfortable with someone.
I love that. Break the ice. So the goal isn't to have a life-changing conversation. It's just to open the door, right?
Exactly. And once the door is open, the next skill is knowing how to keep the conversation going. A lot of learners answer questions with one word and then silence.
Oh yes. Someone asks, "How was your weekend?" And the learner says, "Good." End of conversation.
Right? Instead, a native speaker might say, "Good, I actually went hiking for the first time. Have you ever been?" Now there's something to talk about. You've shared a little about yourself and you've asked a question. That's the formula.
And the key thing is finding common ground. Topics that almost anyone can relate to. Weather, the local sports team, something happening at work, food, travel.
Safe topics are really important. In American small talk, you generally want to avoid politics, religion, money, and health problems, especially when you first meet someone.
And what about when you want to move on? Like if the conversation gets boring or you need to leave.
That's where you need to know how to change the subject or wrap things up. A polite phrase like, "It was so great talking to you. I should go say hi to a few other people," works perfectly. You're not being rude, you're just moving on naturally.
That's such a useful tip. And it brings us to the roleplay section, where we are going to put all of this into practice. Ready, Sarah? Let's review the vocabulary from our first conversation. Break the ice. This is an idiom. It means to say or do something to reduce awkwardness and start a conversation. For example, she told a funny story to break the ice.
The image behind this idiom is literally breaking a block of ice, cracking the cold, hard barrier between two people. Once the ice is broken, things warm up.
Keep the conversation going. This phrase means to maintain a conversation, to not let it stop or become silent. You do this by sharing information and asking follow-up questions. Think of a conversation like a ball you are throwing back and forth. To keep it going, you have to catch it and throw it back. One-word answers let the ball drop. Common ground. This is a noun phrase meaning shared interests or experiences. When you find common ground, the conversation becomes much easier and more natural.
A great strategy is to ask open-ended questions, questions that can't be answered with just yes or no until you find common ground. What do you do for fun, or have you seen any good movies lately?
Change the subject. This means to move the conversation to a different topic. It can be done politely with phrases like "speaking of which," or "that reminds me." The trick is to use a bridge phrase before you change the subject. Don't just jump to a new topic, connect it. "That's interesting. Speaking of which, did you hear about?" Smooth, natural, polite. Now William and Sarah are going to roleplay 3 different small talk situations. Listen carefully and notice how they use the phrases we just learned. Okay, scenario 1. Sarah, pretend we've just met at a company networking event. I'll start. "Hi there. I don't think we've met. I'm William. I work in the marketing department.
Oh, hi. I'm Sarah. I just started in the product team last month. Are you enjoying the event?
Yeah, it's nice. A bit loud, but the food is great. Speaking of which, have you tried those mini tacos? They are amazing.
Huh. No, not yet. I'll have to check those out. So, marketing. What does that look like at this company?
Great job. Notice how William used speaking of which to transition naturally to the food topic. Now let's jump to scenario 2, waiting at a bus stop.
Ugh, this bus is taking forever. Has it always been this unreliable?
I know, right? It's been like this all week. Are you heading downtown?
Yeah, I work near Fifth Avenue. I usually drive, but my car broke down this week. Worst timing ever.
Oh no, that's rough. Well, it's been really nice to catch up with you. Here's my bus. Take care. And for our final scenario, running into someone you know but haven't seen in a while. This is where catch up is most natural.
Oh my gosh, William. I haven't seen you in ages. How have you been?
Sarah. Wow, it has been a long time. I'm doing really well. I actually just got back from a trip to Japan. But hey, I don't want to keep you. We should properly catch up sometime. Can I grab your number? Let's break down the new vocabulary from our roleplay conversations. Speaking of which, this transition phrase helps you connect two topics smoothly. You use it when the next thing you want to say is related to what was just mentioned.
Here are two more great transition phrases that work the same way. That reminds me. And on that note, these make you sound very natural and fluent.
Catch up. As a phrasal verb, this means to talk with someone you haven't seen for a while, to share what has happened in your lives. We need to catch up over coffee. You can also use catch up as a noun. Let's have a proper catch up, or it was great having a catch up. This is very common in both Australian and American English.
One final tip. When you want to exit a conversation politely, use what we call an exit line. Something like, "It was so good running into you," or "I should let you go," or "We should do this again." These signal the end without being abrupt.
Now repeat after me, slowly and clearly. Break the ice. Let's find some common ground. Speaking of which, have you tried that new restaurant? We should catch up sometime. It was so great talking to you. I should let you go. Quiz time. Question 1. What does it mean to break the ice? A. To literally break something cold. B. To start a conversation and reduce awkwardness. C. To end a conversation politely. Pause and think. The answer is B. To start a conversation and reduce awkwardness. Question 2. You want to change the topic smoothly. Which phrase works best? A. Anyway, forget that. B. Speaking of which. C. That's boring, let's talk about something else. The answer is B. Speaking of which is a smooth, polite transition. Question 3. You run into an old friend. What's the most natural thing to say? A. Tell me everything that happened in the last 2 years. B. We should catch up. It's been so long. C. I need to change the subject. The answer is B. We should catch up is natural, warm, and perfect.
And that's a wrap on English 008. Small talk doesn't have to be scary. Just remember, break the ice, find common ground, keep it going with questions, and exit gracefully. Practice these phrases every day, and they'll become second nature.
Thanks for listening to Real English Podcast. If this episode helped you, please share it with a friend who's learning English. We'll see you in English 009, where we are covering the top phrasal verbs native speakers use every single day. See you there.